And when I called you before, you told me that we should get an attorney.
Right.
Yes.
We got an attorney, and the case was heard on August 5th in court.
What was the nature of the case?
What?
What was the nature of the case?
The nature of the case had to do with rewritten CC&Rs.
I do remember.
Part of the majority of the board of directors wanted, and part of the rewriting would have raised the townhome dues on a monthly basis, and not the dues of the multi-story, the condominium.
Right.
Okay, for the benefit of the audience, CCs and Rs means covenants and restrictions that are generally involved when you live in a condo.
Yeah, and if I remember correctly, the issue that would be before the judge would be whether or not those changes and amendments were lawfully accomplished. Yes?
Yes. The judge found the opposition's proposition without merit, unfair, unreasonable.
We were right?
Are you telling me?
And a knowledge of condominium law.
Are you telling me that you won?
Well, that's what we thought.
Oh, okay.
However, the same board of directors, the president of which reassured me twice that they would not file an appeal because they didn't feel that an appeal would be successful. What they are doing now is planning to have another election where they will simply ask the homeowners whether they want to raise the dues on the townhome owners but not on the multi-story people. There are 47 townhome owners and 65 condominium owners.
Well, the answer to the question is you go back to the lawyer who did a good job for you,
yes,
and get an opinion out of him. He or she is very familiar with what went on. He's got all the documents, and get an opinion as to what's going on, because there's a lot of people involved here, and find out whether or not you can get your attorney's fee paid by the board for their actions, and if they're doing a bunch of illegal things, consider suing them for various kinds of damages.
Yeah, let's take the last thing first. What my partner's saying is you may have a right to attorney's fees as the prevailing party. You won. So you should talk to your lawyer about that. You may get money back. That would be great. You'd be getting it from this errant board. Gimme. You know what? You may or may not have a right to attorney's fees. So that's something that you should explore and talk to your attorney about. As far as knowing and understanding the legalities of the process that you're now looking at, you should talk to the lawyer about that as well, because as we now know, because of this judge's decision August 5th, we now know that if they do it the wrong way, you can challenge it and you'll win. So it would be nice to know in advance of the process exactly what it is they're supposed to do, and watch to make sure it gets done right.
And the answer to the question really, in reality, is going to be politically. Eventually they will attempt to do it right, and if it requires a vote, then it'll be up to you and the rest of your co-owners to run an election and win the election. I mean, that's what it gets down to.
Yeah, it's true.
If it requires a popular vote, but
it's true.
May I add one question to this?
Yes.
Today, two of the homeowners went to the management company and asked to see all the legal invoices of the opposition attorney.
Hey, Kristy, I hate to do this to you, but we got to pay some bills and go to break now. So hold on, and we'll get the rest of your comments in about 42 seconds.
Okay. A minute or two. And everybody else who's on hold, stay on hold. We promise we'll get back to you, and we'll be back in just a little bit. We are City TV Channel 16 in Santa Monica, LA 36. Ralph here, Steve there, and we'll be right back.
Yeah,
calls.
Before we go to the calls, the marijuana initiative is coming out in the state election.
Yeah.
And at the same time, the city of LA is trying to close down a gazillion of the medical marijuana places.
Absolutely.
I would suspect that this coming November, the election is going to have a lot of people go out, a lot of interesting issues.
Law enforcement groups on the marijuana initiative, law enforcement groups are coming out on both sides, incumbent still in office police officers are uniting against the initiative, and retired law enforcement officers and organizations are coming out in favor of the initiative.
Well, when you get a pension, you're not uptight anymore.
I suppose so.
1-800-405-4222. And talking about, people getting stoned, I think our next caller is calling in about over-medication.
Mitchell, come on. Mitchell, come on and talk to us.
Yeah, good afternoon, gentlemen.
Good afternoon, Mitchell. How are you?
Well, I'm trying to hold my head above water. Here's my problem.
Okay.
I have a mental health problem, and I have no hidden personality or hidden agendas. I just have a problem. My father passed away 5 years ago, and it was very traumatic to me, like other things in my life. And I went to see a psychiatrist who put me on some medication to help me sleep. And the medication worked very good for a couple of months. And all of a sudden, I was beginning to have some neuromuscular side effects from the medication. And then I went back to the doctor, and we played around with my medicine. And some of these side effects got so far out of control, I had to be hospitalized.
Wow.
And when I was hospitalized, with all the other stigma that was put on people like me, the doctor didn't just replace my medication or take me off it. He actually increased my dosage. And I went home, and for 2 months I was doing okay. I take care of my mother, who's 92. I'm her caregiver with all my other problems. And what happened was I developed this disease or side effect called tardive dyskinesia, which came from the medication. And when I was in the hospital, the prescribing doctor, he did not warn me of this problem. He gave me no literature to explain the medications themselves, and he was just very determined that I took this medicine without questioning anything.
Let me go back.
I have this tardive dyskinesia, and it was much